Imagine if a federal agency was about to lose $20 billion. Not only would it not be able to hire needed workers, it wouldn't be able to function properly. That's what is happening within the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. Today, we're looking into a serious mistake that could impact everybody. I'm going to break it down to you so it's easy to understand. We all know the IRS is in charge of making sure we pay our taxes, right? But that same agency has been underfunded for years. Their workers were stretched out. The systems were outdated. And Congress knew this. So a few years ago, they decided to help them out. They gave them $80 billion under the Inflation Reduction Act to rebuild and improve over a period of 10 years. But here's where it gets a little tricky. A recent spending bill that was with the continuing resolution to keep the government open, they accidentally duplicated a $20 billion cut to the IRS. If Congress does not fix this mistake, the IRS could lose $20 billion that it needs. So why should we care about this? Well, if the IRS loses the $20 billion, they're not going to be able to do their job properly. This is not the same thing as the Department of Defense unable to account for trillions of dollars. The IRS could end up with fewer resources to conduct audits. Now, depending on your income bracket, this could be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's not just the audits, it's also customer service. So if you had an issue with your taxes and you call the IRS, right now, there's an 85% chance they'll pick up the phone and they'll talk to you. But if this cut goes into effect, that number is estimated to drop down to 20%. To prevent this impact, Congress has to act fast. If they don't, the IRS is going to have to consider a few things. Number one, they're going to have to start cutting back on hiring new workers and then stop upgrades to their outdated technology and even lose current employees. A hiring freeze could impact thousands of people, and it's not just people trying to get a job within the IRS. You have to also consider it as the individuals that work in that agency, they're applying for advancements. They're applying for the internal positions, so they're going to be stuck as well. Now, the IRS, they were able to hire 13,000 new employees over the last few years. They're still aggressively hiring. They had a hiring event just last week. Somebody emailed me and said, why is the IRS hiring? Isn't there a huge budget problem? The answer is yes, there is a huge problem, but they are anticipating they will get it resolved. So the IRS is probably number 2 right underneath the DHS. DHS hires super aggressive as well. And if you're not attending those events, I suggest you go ahead and attend some of those virtual events. Now, if you want me to email you a list every week of the latest federal hiring events, make sure you sign up to the free newsletter down below. This $20 billion mistake, it's not just a number. This directly impacts your ability to get answers to your tax questions. What about tax refunds? Could this impact how quickly you're going to get your tax refund? The answer is maybe. So when would a hiring freeze actually go into effect? Most people think it would go into effect 2025. But look at when the next continuing resolution is due. That would be December 20th. If an agreement is not reached on December 20th, it could go in sooner than 2025. Now, a lot of people are concerned about the new presidential administration. We all know President Trump is going to be serving his second term as president. So he doesn't really like the IRS. It's no secret. And there's a few reasons why. Number one, he claimed that he was under continuous audit by the IRS. During his first term, his appointees were looking for ways to reduce the funding of the IRS, and generally, his idea is that taxes should be reduced and the tax code should be simplified. A simplified tax code would result in less employees being needed in the agency. So a lot of people are scared off by everything I just mentioned. President Trump's coming into office. They want to downsize the IRS. Some people want to eliminate the IRS, as ludicrous as that idea sounds. So what do you do during times of fear? Are you going to be on the sidelines looking and observing and waiting and say, well, this is not a great time to apply? Let me tell you something really clear. The IRS is still hiring. Do you want to take advantage of some of those opportunities? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you search IRS jobs on usajobs.gov, you can see there are over 500 open jobs. The first thing you would notice is that there are 12-month positions open, like this one right here. This is a contract specialist job. There's also a lot of direct hire jobs here. The job announcements that are open for 12 months, that's a wonderful thing for you. Because you spend 20 minutes today and you apply, you will be considered multiple times, maybe even a dozen times, maybe even more. Now, when it comes to direct hire, that's also a great opportunity for you. If you're not a military veteran, if you're not disabled or have some other non-competitive hiring authority that you can use to get into the government, you want direct hire because it circumvents all that. It doesn't apply veterans preference. It doesn't apply Schedule A, a hiring authority. None of that is in play. It's just your merit, your actual skills, abilities, and experience. So the main type of jobs you can find in this agency that are open include the 0343, that's program analyst with 61 open jobs, 0512, internal revenue agent with 52 open jobs, 0501, financial administration with 39 open jobs, and 0592, tax examining with 64 open jobs. These are the 4 main job series. Only one of these require a college education, and that's 0512. You need a CPA or a bachelor degree in accounting. The lower salary positions, you're going to find those in 0592. That requires general tax experience. If you were an H&R Block tax preparer, if you had your own small business where you were preparing people's taxes, that's probably enough experience in order to be eligible for a lot of these jobs. But if you don't have any tax experience, I would look at the 0343 job series. Remember that the more uncertainty and fear that's present in the job market, the less competition there will be. Use that to your advantage. Make sure your resume is structured in a competitive format and start applying to these opportunities. Now, if you're new to federal government jobs, you should know there are some federal agencies that terminate employees at a much higher rate. There's other agencies that are more likely to have layoffs. So if you want to know that information, then I want you to check this video out next. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.